Okay, I'm going to continue trying to talk about the self worth idea. Okay, so I wrote Jonathan um, a comment that I do not want him involved in my business. Um, After somebody put another fucking ponytail in the street, and then this other neighbor put fucking bicycle with a water pump in his front yard with flowers in it, and then this other neighbor was trying to play music in his Spanish music in his yard when I walked past, and I'm like, none of that fucking shit is any of anybody's business, and it just gets under my skin. These people already have relationships they're in. I am not in a relationship that never worked out, that I was only in for 2 months when I was 29 years old. Okay, I am 45 and a half years old now. Okay? I do not need busy fucking nosy fucking people getting in my business, which doesn't even fucking exist in today's world. Okay? So I wrote um this this excerpt about some of the things that caught my attention um that Ren had in his song from, like, I guess when he was a teenager is when this song was written, or when he sang it. And he wrote about bicycles and pigeons, and he was like, I'm just saying random words. But those things had sentimental value to me back then, because Jonathan used to do the kind of races where you ride a bicycle, you run, and I think that that's what he did, like the triathlon type of things. And so that was it was only an association that I had with him about the bicycle, which I attached onto whenever I needed hope. But Ren somehow ended up with that. And then there was something about a pigeon that was just like a little text message that he sent me one time about, like, wanting to know if I wanted to do a pigeon race. Then it was just a little memory that I had kept. And now it's been so long, I have forgotten about a lot of those things. But the the thing is, and this is how it connects to self worth, okay, and then also um, about relationships, okay. If you have never had a relationship experience, it is extremely irritating if some people that you don't even know, that you cannot be in those type of relationships with, are butting into your business. Okay, I can sit here at home and I can keep myself as quiet as a mouse and not share anything at all on the internet. But that stuff that, like, okay, so I did write music and farm on my wall about my pantry, but music is also my passion. It's not just about Rin. I've loved music for my entire life. I told myself that if I wanted to give the world things that I took, which were I cherished, that music should be one of those things, and I should be able to put some kind of music into the world, which was more than about romance, because um, music is such a good opportunity to get into the mind of people for positive change. And if I have a lot of ideas of how to do that, that was something that I wanted to do, because it's highly um, irritable when people want to share romantic stories with each other. I do not like it. But it's also a predicament that I'm here alone and I have to open up myself in some kind of way if I want to be able to experience a romantic relationship. And so that's what I did with my opportunity to get on YouTube, because I don't want to quit. Trying to figure out if there's any possibility that there is anybody in the world, out of the entire freaking world, that I could get along with and spend some of my time with. but in a marriage relationship, hopefully, but I can't do that until I've actually gotten to know a person. Um, and I just wanted to say that if anybody does anything dishonestly or crookedly or whatever they're trying to do, that is not going to get you anywhere good. You should not ever do that to another person, and you should not do that to yourself. And so, speaking of this idea of Jonathan, anybody who tries to get that message through to me about something that no longer exists anymore is not going to work because they're not in the relationship. It emasculates him when you do that, because he is not man enough to come over here and tell me if he had any feelings. And those feelings do not exist coming from another person. They're not there. I'm not in a relationship with the third party or anyone else who wants to promote that. So it's like it doesn't do any good. It does more harm than good. You can't do that to people. Okay? If there was some people I knew that like were that dated a long time ago and did not speak or have any contact with each other, and especially if one of them had married somebody else, I would not be able to go and try and get involved in that and make it my business, because it would make things worse about the people that it does not do any good to meddle in other people's romantic affairs. It needs to be like brought to the surface. You do not have the heart for the person to be getting involved in things like that. You don't. So you need to keep your nose out of it. It's highly irritable. It was highly irritable when I was followed around at the park when I was trying to take walks. It is irritable to me because somebody was laying out ponytail holders all over the ground. That has nothing to do with the present moment. Okay? What became of Jonathan was it was a hope that lasted for a very long time, that got me through some difficult times. Okay, because I perceived him as a good person, and that made me want to be a good person. That's the gist of it. Okay? Now, with that pertaining to self-worth, okay? When you have worked so incredibly hard to pick yourself back up after time and time and time again, it is not appealing or even worth your shrinking yourself, I guess you would say now, to feel like you need to live up to some kind of expectation to get this appreciation for this person that you put up on a pedestal as a person that you wanted to be good enough for. Okay, it doesn't feel like that when you get over the hump and able to actually see that you do have internal and worth for yourself no matter what, and it's only gonna feel like something that is doesn't feel good to you, to think that you're trying to get this approval or this acceptance for this person to enter a relationship with you. It's beneath you to go back to that place of a person that you no longer are anymore to get something that you can't even really imagine anymore. because it's like I said, it's 16 or 17 years ago. I'm nowhere near the kind of person I was. There are things that like it would be like something of huge importance to me if somebody came and sat down to me and said a few words because they noticed me and made me feel like I wasn't dirt, which that's what I felt like, was scum of the earth back then. And it was, I was very fragile. Okay, that back then, that would have made me feel good. I'm not like that anymore. There are plenty of things that I can feel are worthwhile to do. And so it just gets under my skin to be put in this situation of like, is there somebody that I need to compete with, or is there this expectation I need to live up to? That's not the truth anymore. Any expectations I create of myself have been created by myself and are up to me if I can reach them. And that's a healthy way that I conduct myself, because I cannot stay in the same type of repetitive behavior if it starts to feel like I'm stagnating, because it's something that becomes too easy for me or something that becomes too monotonous for me, and I need to up my work. Uh, what my work power, my work horse, my work, I don't know what to call it, but the effort I put into things. When things become effortless, they become boring because you don't have anything to strive after. And also, if you're striving after something that never gets to the results that you want, such as a romantic relationship, then it becomes boring, because it's like, why put in the time of any kind of um, time and energy into anything that you're not going to get anything out of? So there is nothing that I mean, I just want it to be heard, to hear me out with some compassion. I want to walk by myself when I take a walk. I don't want to be bothered by some about from the neighbors about a relationship they were never a part of, or the neighbors to try and know about, make what is going on in my house about their house, because that's not fair. That is not fair. I want the opportunity to be able to pursue a relationship for myself. That is what I want. I want the opportunity to be able to finish my house construction and hopefully have the opportunity to get to this farm that I have in my mind, because I have had that ambition since I was uh, 20 or 21 years old, when I decided to do the agriculture business degree. And I'm just now to a place at 45 years old where I have implemented some activities where I might be able to get to that place. But every opportunity I take is just a little skill or a little practice that I incorporate so that I might be able to do that. If you need anything from me, ask me. But do not make my life about your life. Every person in the world has the opportunity to be in a relationship, get a career, whatever it is that they've aspired to do. They do not need to be like trying to meddle in things that they don't want anything to do with. If it's not your goal, it is not your business. And that's all I have to say about that. Is there anything else in my notes? Do things honestly. You do not need a priest to go through to relieve your conscience, when you can do that by engaging in the type of behaviors and work and anything else you do which does not impose any guilt upon your own conscience. Then you don't ever have to seek forgiveness or redemption or anything else, because you're walking the way that you know is good.